The following is a presentation of Fox Sports.
Spring-like weather in downtown Cincinnati. Temperatures in the mid-70s for the opening game of a season-long 10-game homestand for the Reds. And it starts with a first of 4 tonight against the San Francisco Giants. And coming off a 3-3 road trip, the Reds sit atop the National League Central Division in a tie with the St. Louis Cardinals going into play tonight. Hi again, everybody. Alongside Chris Welsh, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Reds baseball. As part of that last trip, Johnny Cueto, one of the hottest pitchers in all of baseball. But, Chris, we're hoping that his game against St. Louis was just a blip on the radar screen.
Well, the way he's been throwing the ball this year, it gives me an indication that everybody gets a day off from time to time. And if you're a starting pitcher and you have that day off when you pitch, it's not a good thing. 8 runs last time out for Johnny Cueto. Gave up 10 hits on the game. That was the most he's given up all year long. But look at the good part. He only walked one batter, so even when he's getting knocked around like he was against the Cardinals, he still comes right after the hitters. And that's what you love about Cueto. He's always been a strike thrower throughout the minor leagues. His major league numbers the same way. Expect Johnny Cueto to bounce back tonight, throw the ball down the zone, use his good stuff. He just had a blip on the radar last time. Between April 30th and May 27th, though, hardly any pitchers in baseball quite as good as Johnny Cueto. 5-0 with an earned run average under 2.
Well, we're hoping to see that Johnny Cueto here tonight against what has been a light-hitting Giant team. One thing we know they can do, as good as anybody in baseball, is pitch. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Beautiful night for baseball in downtown Cincinnati. Our telecast tonight on Fox Sports Ohio, presented as always in beautiful high-definition television, thanks to our friends at H.H. Gray. Perfect weather, and to make sure it'll stay that way, let's check in with Michelle Boudelette from WKRC Television.
It'll be a great night for a ball game. Partly cloudy skies, low humidity, and comfortable temperatures. By first pitch, 75, 71 by 9 o'clock, 67 by the end of the game. Again, have a great night.
Michelle, thank you very much. First time the Reds have seen the Giants in this 2010 season, and Chris, their pitching has been as advertised.
Well, they pitch in a ballpark that is very conducive for good pitching. It's a big ballpark, rarely gives up very many home runs, unlike Great American Ballpark, but they can pitch. They've got some veteran pitchers. They've got some great arms out of the bullpen. Matt Cain can come in and shut you down. And, of course, Brian Wilson at the very end of the ballgame throws about as hard as anybody anywhere. Jeremy Affeldt has done a good job. Jonathan Sanchez, a starter, 11th in the National League. So you look up and down their pitching staff, they rank in the National League in all the big categories, yes. And that's one reason why they are 5 games over 500 right now. Second in earned run average, opponent batting average closer to 200 than 250. That's getting it done.
And you see the question mark for Todd Wellemeyer on Thursday. Rumor has it the Giants are going to make a change on that spot in the rotation by the time we get there 3 days from now. And no Tim Lincecum, the 2-time Cy Young Award winner, in this 4-game series. So the Reds back on the home front, where they have played great baseball the entire year. First pitch next. By Ford F-Series trucks, the best-selling trucks 33 straight years. By Just for Men, for mustache and beard, keep your edge. And by Skyline Chili, you know it's Skyline time when you get that craving for a Skyline 3-way or cheese Tony's. Just moments away from the first pitch here at Great American Ballpark. Johnny Cueto making his way in from the Reds' left center field bullpen. The first of 4, the Reds and the Giants. Kansas City in town over the weekend. And after a rare off day on Monday for the Reds, a 3-game series against the Dodgers. Second time the Dodgers have already been to Great American Ballpark this summer. Thing about this Giant team, Chris, as good as their pitching is, one of the real keys is to score first and early and often against them. They are 21-5 when they score first in a game. That is the 3rd best record in all of Major League Baseball. behind only the Cardinals and the New York Yankees.
Well, the Reds are up there, too. I can't tell you exactly what it is, but that's one of those stats that really holds true to a lot of people. But when you're playing on the road, I think it's even more important than anywhere else. So the pressure is on the Giants to try to get the Johnny Cueto early on. You know, you look at insignificant stats, I got a couple for you. The Reds love Mondays. They are 5-1 on their last 6 Mondays, and they're also 9-2 in their last 11 home games. They love coming back here to Cincinnati after a road trip of 7 games, and they were on the road for 7 days, and here they're coming back. Dusty Baker got to sleep in his own bed last night. So did Johnny Gomes. These guys are fired up. This is a loose clubhouse right now. You were in there. I was in there. And these guys are having some fun playing baseball, and it's been a long time since we've seen a Reds ball club at this time of the year with that kind of feeling in the clubhouse.
Chris, that's a big win yesterday.
Absolutely big win yesterday. I mean, it looked like that game was going to be just gone. You'd look back and said, boy, that was one of those games you wish that they had won, because it looks like they were going to have their way with the starter early in the ball game. But they came back and scored 3 runs late, gave up the lead, and then come back in extra innings and win that ball game and snatch victory from defeat. That made for a happy plane ride, no doubt about it.
Well, the Reds take the field, and let's take a look at Bruce Bochy's starting lineup, presented by Remke Biggs. Andres Torres leads off in right. The red-hot Freddie Sanchez healthy again and knocking the cover off the ball, as he's done pretty much his entire career. Pablo Sandoval will bat third and play third. Aubrey Huff at first. Juan Uribe the shortstop. Pat Burrell just signed recently and brought up to the major league club. He's in left. A ladder third of the highly touted Buster Posey behind the plate. Aaron Rowan in center, and Barry Zito is on the mound. Johnny Cueto, a 5-1 record. The ERA went up quite a bit after that last start in St. Louis.
Well, it did go up, and don't worry about Johnny Cueto's earned run average until the end of the year. What you should, though, worry about is the fact that the Reds are 7-0 in his last 7 starts. They get a lot of runs for him. They've averaged over 7 runs a ball game when Johnny Cueto toes the rubber, and he knows that. Now, in this ballpark, he's going to have to keep the ball down a little more than he did last time against the Cardinals. He gave up some long balls then. He threw the ball up in the zone. This is nowhere the power-hitting team that the Cardinals have, but they've got some guys in there that can swing the bats a little bit, and they'll feed off pitches waist high and above.
Let's take a look at the Reds defensively tonight, presented by Ford. They'll go with Stubbs in center, flanked again by Gomes and Jay Bruce. Rowland and Votto on the corners. Cabrera and Phillips up the middle with a battery again of Johnny Cueto and Ramon Hernandez. So here we go, the first of 4, the Reds and the Giants. San Francisco winners yesterday over the Pirates in extra innings. Giants winning 2 out of 3. In a 3-game set at PNC Park. And the Reds, of course, coming off back-to-back wins in the nation's capital. First pitch, strike 1, Andres Torres in this game underway. Torres has played very well. When he gets on, he makes things happen. A .292 batter, 3 home runs, and 15 batted in. He has 11 stolen bases. And Cueto quickly ahead, 0-2.
Well, he's no young rookie. Torres has been around a little bit. I mean, he's about 32 years old. He broke in with Detroit in 2002. Has always been a part-time player. So you may not know a lot about him. He was with the Giants last year, but he only had 152 at-bats. He has more than that this year.
The Giants have never faced Johnny Cueto. With an unbalanced schedule now, generally against teams outside your own division, you only play 1 series against them at home, 1 on the road. In fact, the only member of the Giants' current active roster with Mark DeRosa on the disabled list, the only player that has faced Cueto is the man on deck, Freddie Sanchez. Struck him out on a breaking ball.
Now, Johnny Cueto's second best pitch after his fastball is his changeup, but his slider, if he gets that baby working the way he does right there, looks like a fastball. Torres couldn't have missed it by any more.
Told you earlier that Cueto in his last start did not strike out a single batter, and he was averaging nearly a strikeout per inning on the year. But 1 batter, 1 strikeout tonight, and here is Sanchez.
Well, you know, back at home here at Great American Ballpark, one thing to note, this time of the game, this time of the season, very difficult to see right now. When the sun is out, regardless of how they have angled these windows out here in the batter's eye, the sun does glare off that. It is very tough to pick the ball up out of a pitcher's hand.
3-0 to Sanchez, who missed all the spring training and then the first 38 games of this season, recovering from left shoulder surgery. Of course, he's a former National League batting champion, a 3-time All-Star, all with the Pirates. And he takes a 4-pitch walk with 1 out here in the first inning.
A shot from behind home plate gives you a little bit of an idea of what the batter's dealing with right now. Not necessarily the glare that comes off as a reflection off that window, but just the overall brightness. Pitcher's in the dark, the background is white. That's about as bad a hitting background as you can have, and Cueto ought to be aware of that and just come right after these hitters early on until he gets his groove.
Pablo Sandoval coming off an outstanding 2009 season when he knocked in nearly 100 runs. A .283 hitter this year, 4 home runs, 23 driven in, and he's nearly impossible to walk. And yet Cueto has now missed on 6 straight pitches.
Well, Johnny's usually a pretty good strike thrower. As I mentioned that at the very open of this ball game. I mean, he was a strike thrower in the minor leagues, which is one reason why the Reds were certain that he was a can't-miss prospect. That combined with a real good fastball gets you to the big leagues. Even when he got beat around in his last start with the Cardinals, he did not walk but 1 batter. But he didn't strike out any either.
And that was a killer walk. You may remember Cueto had given up 4 runs in a game, but appeared at the time to be settling in. And then walked Matt Holliday to lead off the 5th inning, and the wheels fell off. In there, strike to Sandoval, who is on pace right now to shatter the major league record for most double plays grounded into in a season, held by the Hall of Famer Jim Rice. Sandoval has already bounced into 14 double plays this year. Sandoval was dropped from the 3rd spot all the way down to the 8th spot in the batting order by Bruce Bochy on Saturday. Was back in a 3-hole again yesterday and had a couple of hits. 3-1 pitch. Runner going. Votto able to knock it down, and he'll take the out right next to him with Sanchez at second and 2 away in the inning.
Now they ran the runner on the pitch. We'll take a look at the box tracks down at the bottom of your screen right there. Look like on that pitch, a 3-1 changeup. That's why Sandoval got way around on it, hit one on the ground to Votto. I think if Votto hadn't fielded that cleanly, he was thinking about going to second base, even with Sanchez running on the pitch.
Well, now Aubrey Huff, one of the hot hitters in his Giant lineup coming into the game tonight. Veteran getting a chance with the Giants and making the most of it. 3 games over the weekend against the Pirates. Went 3 for 10 with a home run, knocked in 3 runs. And quickly behind is Aubrey Huff, 0-2.
Well, Johnny Cueto is never afraid to pitch inside. He always ranks at the end of the year among the league leaders, at least the last couple of years when he's been starting regularly, among hit batters. I mean, he'll come right on in there. So he's trying to get inside on Aubrey Huff, trying to take some of the power away. Brandon Phillips playing Huff in shallow right field right now. This guy loves to pull the ball, and they want to get it in on him. Look where Brandon is way out here. That's the way Buddy Bell used to play second base at Moeller High School. Back in 1969.
Wow. 1-2 to Aubrey Huff. And Cueto thought he had strike 3 there, and apparently no, says Paul Lemel, tonight's home plate umpire.
You know, when you haven't been around the zone a lot, you walk a batter, you go 3-1 to the next guy, you're not liable to get those close pitches until you find a little bit of a rhythm and you show the umpire that you're around that zone.
Runner at second, 2 are out in the Giants' first inning, and a 2-2 to Huff. Barely got a piece of it to stay alive.
Now he's going down in his slider again. Here we'll take another look at the last pitch, our Fox Tracks look.
Two and two again to Huff. And again, he tries to come down and in, and this time misses to run it full. Juan Uribe hoping for a chance here in the Giants' first inning, and Cueto trying to deny him that. Retire Huff and get in that dugout. 3-2 on the way. Pulled down Nevada. And the inning is over. A walk, a man left. Giants scoreless with the Reds coming back. Inning in a scoreless game, and the Remke Biggs red starting lineup for Dusty Baker, former manager of the Giants, of course. Orlando Cabrera at short, Brandon Phillips at second, Joey Votto at first. Scott Rowland, what a year he's having and what a run he's on right now. He'll be the cleanup batter at third. Johnny Gomes in left with Jay Bruce in right. A ladder third of Drew Stubbs, Ramon Hernandez, and Johnny Cueto against 32-year-old left-hander Barry Zito.
Well, off to one of the better starts of his career. Barry Zito has good earned run average, under 3, a 6-2 record, and the Giants really aren't scoring him all that many runs. In fact, they average fewer than 4 runs a game when he takes them out. So he's getting it done out there big time as Barry Zito, making start number 332 in his major league career.
Question is, which Zito will the Reds see tonight? The one in April or the one in May? During the month of April, over his first 6 starts, his earned run average was 1.49. He only allowed 7 runs in his first 42 innings with a 5-0 record. But over his last 5 games, a 1-2 record, and that earned run average is up to 4.5. (2-0) on Orlando Cabrera, 267 batting. Shows bunt and takes a strike. Zito originally came up with the Oakland Athletics after 1 year and 18 starts in the minor leagues. At 2000 year, he went 7-4. And then the very next year, 17-8. The year after that, 23-5. Part of that outstanding trio of starting pitchers in Oakland, along with Tim Hudson and Mark Mulder. Got to the playoffs a couple of times with the A's, but they couldn't get over the hump. 5 times they went to the playoffs over a 6-year time frame. First 2 years ran into the Yankees and Minnesota, and then back-to-back years Boston and Minnesota again. And there's strike 3 called, and Cabrera thought that pitch was in. The Giants, the best defensive team fielding percentage-wise in the league. Their defense brought to you by Ford, Burrow, Rowan, Torres in the outfield, Sandoval and Huff on the corners, Uribe and Sanchez up the middle, with a battery of Zito and Buster Posey. Now Brandon Phillips, batting average all the way up to 285, 7 home runs, 20 knocked in. Puts it ball 1 away.
You know what Zito will do to you is he'll try to velocitize you and thinking really slow, and then he'll throw a cutter about 86 miles an hour in on your hands and you'll jam yourself. But he wants to show everybody all that outside slow stuff first to kind of get them ready to the slow. There it is. Slow, slow, and slower.
And Phillips pops it up to Huff and foul ground, and just like that, 7 pitches to get 2 outs for Barry Zito.
And you know, in watching our ball club, Tom, the Reds so many times as we have, and over the years especially, but even so it applies this year. Those pitchers that come in here with good command of their off-speed stuff seem to do pretty well. Zito's stuff is not the same, but a guy that he reminds me of, at least as far as his stuff, is Wade LeBlanc from the San Diego Padres. Came in, didn't throw hard, threw a lot of change-ups, a lot of off-speed pitches, had the Reds really eating right out of his hand.
2 down, nobody on for Joey Votto. .318 batter, 11 home runs, 36 runs batted in. He looks at a breaking ball up and in. Votto 8 hits and 22 at-bats on the road trip. Of course, he missed the first game on Memorial Day. What turned out to be 7 consecutive games where he did not get a single at-bat with a stiff neck. Check swing, and that's strike 2.
Well, Barry Zito working with a new battery mate tonight. Buster Posey is the young catcher that he has been a phenom and prospect in their organization for a long time. He's played up here in the major league level, obviously, earlier in the year as primarily a first baseman. But here's his first chance behind the dish.
On the ground to Sanchez, and Zito with a 1-2-3, very easy, perfect first inning. We played 1. No score at Great American Ballpark. Note, serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Talk about the Reds offensively, doing it in primarily every category there is imaginable. Those that they're not at the top, they're either second and third in just about everything else. But against this Giant team, they're facing an entirely different cat, if you will, as far as starting pitching is concerned, without a doubt. The best starting pitching that they have seen all year long. The Cardinals would be the closest thing to the Giants as far as teams the Reds have played already this year. And Barry Zito with a 1-2-3 first inning tonight. Juan Uribe, Pat Burrell, and then Buster Posey. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night for Mr. Uribe, and that's strikeout number 2 for Johnny Cueto.
Well, Johnny Cueto looks like he's got a pretty good idea with that slider as he gets ahead of Uribe with a fastball and drops that slider on him, and just a little outside. He's going to take that bat to the other end of the dugout and put an extension on it.
Of course, the Major League Baseball draft is underway. Tonight in New York, New York, longtime Red Scout Gene Bennett, along with former Reds great Barry Larkin, representing the franchise tonight at the draft headquarters at Major League Baseball's Network Studio 42. There's a base hit into center field by Pat Burrell. The Reds will select 12th in the draft, and when they pick who they pick, we'll let you know ASAP. Hey, all of us tonight at Fox Sports Ohio would love to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world watching Reds baseball in 175 countries on AFN, American Forces Network. And certainly we cannot thank you enough for all that you do and will continue to do. And we certainly hope that tonight you're able to enjoy a little Major League Baseball. And we have a wonderful telecast coming your way. What better date than the 4th of July? That'll be a 2 o'clock Eastern time game. The Reds will be in Chicago and pay tribute to the military in honor of the 234th celebration of the United States Independence Day, presented by Marathon. We'll have live interviews via satellite with a hometown hero currently serving overseas. Bronson Arroyo will perform a patriotic medley that day. And fans, you will have a chance to show your support. Send messages to our military through text messaging the entire game. That is Saturday, July the 4th, right here on Fox Sports Ohio. So great to have all of you with us tonight. One out, one on for Buster Posey. And Cueto ahead of him at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Posey playing in just his 9th game this year. Has 13 hits in his first 30 at bats. Base hit left center field. Turned on a fastball up and in. The Giants have back-to-back 1-out hits from Burrell and Posey.
And back-to-back hits on high fastballs. The first one was an 0-2 pitch to Pat Burrell. He tried to go up and out of the strike zone up the ladder, but he didn't get it high enough. I think he wanted this one down, and the ball just kind of floated up about belt high. So Posey gets a knock right after Burrell gets a knock. Same kind of thing that Johnny Cueto did in St. Louis, which was throw the ball essentially down the middle, a little above the waist, and it's hittable. Even with good stuff, it's very hittable right there.
Well, now Aaron Rowan, who comes limping into town through his worst slump of the year, and he looks at ball 1. Rowan just 4 hits in his last 30 at bats and 6 for his last 40. His overall average has gone from 264 all the way down to 225. And with runners in scoring position, he's been even worse than that. Just 2 hits in his last 21 such at bats. And Cueto trying to make it 2 out of 22.
Well, Aaron Rowan signed a pretty big contract coming as a free agent after the 2007 year with the Philadelphia Phillies. He hit .309 that year, hit 27 home runs, and then he joined the Giants. He had .271 the next year, .261 last year, and now he's down to 2 1/4.
Fly ball to Jay Bruce and right. And momentarily thinking about tagging was Burrow, and not many people are going to run on that arm out in right field for the Reds.
Right fielders love to have an opportunity like this early in the first game of a series to say, all right, Mr. Third Base Coach, we're going to show you right now what you're up against as far as sending runners on me, whether it's first to third, second to third, second to home. Jay Bruce wants to show that his arm is accurate and strong, and it is.
2 on, 2 out, no score in the second inning. And here's a pitcher, Barry Zito. 3 hits and 19 at bats on the year. Well, you don't know if Zito would think about putting down a bunt with 2 outs in the inning, but he is an outstanding bunter, among the best in all of baseball. Rolen at the last moment apparently started thinking along the same lines, was well behind the bag, came creeping in. And right now still about 3 steps behind the bag. Votto way back at first.
You know, a lot of times it makes sense for a pitcher to bunt, but with a runner on second base, you'd almost rather see him swing the bat. You just never know when you're going to dink one in there. Although Barry Zito has struck out 9 times in his 18 or 19 at bats, so maybe the odds of him laying down a bunt might be better.
Cueto ahead now 1-2. As Chris pointed out a moment ago, both Cueto hits in the inning came with 2 strikes. And this one thrown all the way to the screen. That'll be a wild pitch on Johnny Cueto, putting Burrow at third and Posey now in scoring position at second.
Well, he got the slider on top of it and just threw it right by. In fact, Zito lucky to get out of the way of that one. That almost cost the Reds a base runner and moved them all up with the bases loaded.
Two and 2 to Zito. And look at this. A base hit into left field to knock in a couple. So Johnny Cueto again for the 3rd time in this inning allows a 2-strike hit. And this one drives in the first 2 runs of the game.
Well, after missing with the slider down and in, he's going to come right back with a fastball up. Not a bad idea right there, but Zito just kind of brings his hands in and just scoops the ball into left field. You hate to see the count even get that deep. You know, with Cueto's stuff, he ought to be able to put Barry Zito away in his sleep.
And it continues now for the leadoff man, Torres. He struck out his first time up. First 2 RBIs of the year for Barry Zito. And that's exactly what you said, Chris. I mean, you never know. You might run into one, and Zito clearly did right there.
I mean, he's just trying to stay alive in the at-bat. Just put the bat head on the ball somewhere. You never know.
Three-pitch strikeout, but damage done. A 2-out, 2-run single by Zito puts the Giants in front 2-0. Toyota signs out in left center or right center in our game tonight. Andrew Johnson of Beaver Creek, Ohio, will win the beautiful new Tundra on display here every day at Great American Ballpark. And you can register for your chance to win at an upcoming game by visiting your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. So once again, the Reds are forced to play catch-up. Only the 6th and 7th career RBIs for Barry Zito.
What was the number that you read about the Giants scoring first? Were they second in the league in their winning percentage when they score first? And you let the pitcher do it. A guy that really is not much of a hitter. Ouch.
Scott Rowland, Johnny Gomes, Jay Bruce against Zito here in the Reds' second inning. Rowland, the dramatic home run again yesterday, has 14 of those 40 runs batted in. Rowland 3 home runs shy of 300 in his career. Ranks among the National League leaders in home runs, RBIs, and slugging percentage. He's tied for the league lead in the home run category with Corey Hart of the Brewers and, of course, the great Albert Pujols of St. Louis. Good breaking ball there from Zito to get ahead 1-2.
He's got 2 different types of breaking balls. One's a slow curve ball about 73 miles an hour. I mean, it's got a big break in it. We'll show you that in the break on the Fox tracks when he drops one in there. The last one's a slider. Tightens it up a little bit. Even has a cutter, too. So the difference really between a curveball, a slider, and a cutter is really the speed of the pitch. Curveballs are normally slow. Sliders a little bit faster, and cutters are faster yet a lot more like a fastball.
2-2, Zito to Rowland. And the count goes full and a fastball high.
Well, that's a Tommy Glavine trick right there. You throw your best fastball as hard as you can, up about eye high, so the hitter takes a look at it. He has you velocitized. He'll probably come down with something off speed. No, he doesn't. Comes right back with another fastball.
Good location with that fastball. And a very nice catch by a fan in the stands. First row to second deck.
Yeah, it looked like a fan from Anderson down there caught that ball.
Well, if he caught it, you know he's from Anderson. If he dropped it,
never mind.
Probably went to St. X. And there's ball 4 to Rowland to begin the Reds' second inning. Hey, congratulations, by the way, to Elder High School reaching the state baseball championship game over the weekend, losing, unfortunately, but, well, what a great year they had, including the shocking win, 1-0, over the #1 ranked team in the state, Moeller. When the Reds get it done with an RBI this year, that means another $25 from Shakely goes to the Reds Community Fund. Shakely, it's done. And here's a guy getting it done. Johnny Gomes. 304 hitters, 7 home runs, 36 runs batted in. And that one's in the air to left field. Drifting back with room, Pat Burrow. And retreating quickly to first is Rowland. Looked like that got in just a little bit on Johnny Gomes.
Yeah, I think you're right about that time. He had a big swing at it, but just did not get the sweet part of the bat on it. Actually, on the end of the bat, now that I see it more, he just got out a little ahead of that ball. And boy, for hitting it on the knob of the bat, he hits it a long way. Put Pat Burrow right to the wall in left field. Scott Rowland gets back in time. Nice little pickup there by Aubrey Huff.
Now Jay Bruce.
This will be interesting for Jay Bruce because Zito's a very accomplished lefty pitcher, has a myriad of breaking pitches, as we said, and Bruce likes the fastball, so he's going to have to adjust.
Breaking ball in the outside corner, knee high, strike 1 to Jay.
You almost have to sit on breaking ball if you're a left-handed hitter like Bruce against Zito. Spit on a fastball, you know he's going to throw you a breaking ball eventually.
That's what Mark Grace talks about all the time, and he was one of the best left-handed hitters against left-handed pitching.
Yes.
Really over about the last 30 years.
And that's why, because he was a good breaking ball hitter. You wouldn't fool him on a breaking ball because he was looking for it.
That ball driven hard into left center field by Bruce, and it's going to the wall. On his way to third is Scott Rowland. They're going to wave him around. And then slamming on the brakes, Mark Berry. Rowland fell down, and the cutoff man, Huff, dropped the ball there. They would have had a play on Rowland at third. But it looked like Mark Berry started to wave him around and then thought better of it. Threw on the stop sign, and Rowland stopped so quickly he fell down.
Well, it was a fastball that he got, and he zings it all right. Left center field gap. Good swing by Jay Bruce right here. And as the ball's coming in, the relay, it was the green light and then the stop sign.
Well, now the Reds have it working. A leadoff walk to Rowland. One out later. A double to left center by Bruce. And here's Drew Stubbs. 6 home runs, 27 runs batted in for Stubbs, and a breaking ball misses low and in. Threw that big base hit in the 10th inning yesterday. Snapped a 4-4 tie with an RBI single. Started to pull the trigger and then took it for a strike. His last 15 games. Stubbs has 19 hits in his last 50 at bats. That's a .380 average to bring his overall season numbers from 190 up to the current 241. He's really found a home, Chris, in that 7-hole.
Well, he has. You know, I think eventually you're going to see him move up in the order a little bit. But right now, you take the pressure off of him, leave him where he is. He's been excellent production-wise, and he gives you some speed down there at the bottom of the order. And, of course, he's got some pop. So, I mean, the more he sees of Major League pitching, the more he plays, the better this young man will get.
Rowland stands at third. The tying run, Jay Bruce, out at second. 1 out in the inning. And the count 2-1. Zito against Drew Stubbs. And there's a liner into center field that will fall in for a hit. Rowland will score. Jay had to make sure it was going to fall. And the lead cut in half, a 2-1 ball game. That's good hitting by Drew Stubbs again.
Well, he really waited on it. I mean, Zito's a guy, he's a master of changing speeds and fooling you, making you hit out on your front foot. And Stubbs' problem was always getting out ahead of it. He gets his foot down, but he stays right with it right there. He drops the bat head, not his whole body, as he goes to get that low pitch, and he's able to get it into center field for a base hit. So after looking masterful in the first inning, Barry Zito looks very hittable here in the second.
Now Ramon Hernandez at a batting average for Ramon up to .297. Getting a chance to play pretty much every day since Ryan Hannigan went down with a broken thumb. Hernandez has driven in 14 runs. They're on the corners, 1 out, Reds down a run. Trouble here. They throw to second for 1, and then Sanchez gets it out of his glove in the nick of time to get Hernandez. Boy, you thought when he double pumped they weren't going to get him. A 2-1 game as we go to the third. Win yesterday. We're a bunch of fighting fools. That's what we were today, and Chris, really, that's what they've been for a month and a half.
Sounds like the lyrics of an upcoming country song starring Lance Nix. They have been. You're right, Tom. I'm telling you what, they just don't give up. They believe in themselves, which, and we've said this so many times, but, which is almost as important as being good. If you really believe that you're good, and this ball club does.
2-1 game at the end of 2. Sanchez, Sandoval, Huff against Johnny Cueto here in the third. Sanchez walked his first time up. Cueto allowed 2 runs, 3 hits, including a 2-run single by the pitcher Barry Zito in the second inning. Reds get 1 back in the bottom of the inning. And we'll see if Cueto can tighten things up here the rest of the way and give his team a chance to battle back. Not a good way to get it started.
I mean, he has thrown pitches to these hitters so far. Pat Burrell, Buster Posey, and now Freddie Sanchez right down the middle. I mean, you see where Hernandez wants it. I mean, and Johnny Cueto is simply missing his spot, and that is where all 3 of the hardest hit balls on the night have been, right there. You cannot get by doing that.
Sandoval hit the ball very hard, but right at Joey Votto his first time up. Up and in, 2 balls and a strike. Sandoval last year hit .330, 25 home runs, knocked in 90 runs. Double play ball here, and this will be his 15th already this season. And they can't turn it. Cabrera tried to take it himself, and by the time he got to the bag and then threw, Sandoval hustling all the way, legs out, which should have been a double play.
Boy, this is a classic double play ball, but, Brandon Phillips is playing deep in the hole on the right side. I'm not so sure he was going to be able to get there in time enough to give confidence to Cabrera, so he decided to take it himself, figuring he'd be able to beat Sandoval to the bag with the throw, was unable to do so.
Well, he was out. That replay looked pretty convincing that Votto had that ball before Sandoval's foot hit the bag. But that's old news now. Had one down the line. It's up against the wall off the bat of Huff. And they're going to hold the runner Sandoval to third, so the inability to turn that double play may cost the Reds dearly here in the third inning. Well, they're hitting Johnny Cueto hard here tonight.
He's just simply getting the ball up, very much like he did his last time out. I mean, that is almost the identical pitch that he's thrown to 4 or 5 different batters tonight. Each one of them have laid out a line drive or an extra base hit.
Runners at second and third, 1 away. Uribe struck out his first time up, and lines 1 into right field this time, a base hit. 1 real score. They're going to wave around Huff. The throw is cut off by Votto. Phillips hustling in behind the runner, and he will get the out because the runner going out of the baseline, but it's a 2-run single for Uribe to make it a 4-1 Giants lead.
Well, they are just coming up there ready to swing the bat against Johnny Cueto tonight. Jay Bruce gets it, fires it in the infield. Votto cuts it off, and a very heads-up, smart play, hustling play by Brandon Phillips. He's the backup man right there to cover first base, and he gets Uribe on the slide back into the bag. Well, we've had a lot happen here.
Well, you're not lying. Every batter seemingly making contact early in the at-bat, these last couple of innings anyway. And Cueto, coming off his worst outing of the year, has not been much better so far here tonight. He's already given up 4 runs on 6 hits. Rowland will throw out Posey rather, and that'll end the inning. Couple of more runs for the Giants. Their lead is 3. This Saturday, the Reds and the Royals, the first 30,000 fans in attendance, receive a bobblehead of the Reds third baseman Scott Rowland, thanks to our friends at Kroger. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or go to Reds.com for tickets to any Reds game all summer long. Look forward to seeing you over the weekend. In fact, look forward to seeing you this week. 2 more night games against the Giants, an afternoon game on Thursday. Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon against Kansas City. And then 2 night games and a day game to wrap up the homestand against the Dodgers. Reds have lots of work to do tonight. Trailing 4-1 after 2.5. Cueto, Cabrera, Phillips against Zito here in the 3rd inning. One away. Johnny Cueto has allowed almost as many runs, 1 fewer, in his last 2 starts tonight as he allowed in 7 starts combined prior to his last outing against St. Louis. Told you in those 6 starts he had a 1.85 ERA. And now all of a sudden he's given up 8 runs in 5 innings. And 4 more tonight. That one in the air to deep left center field by Cabrera. And that ball is caught by Aaron Rowand for the 2nd out of the inning.
At one time, Aaron Rowand was one of the best there was defensively in center field, and he can still go get him. Looks like Orlando Cabrera got a whole bunch of that one heading towards the Reds bullpen in left center field. That's a dandy of a catch. I mean, look at the route that Aaron Rowan takes. I mean, he runs right to the spot. Not a circuitous route where he's making a big loop trying to figure out where the ball's going to go. Took a look at the ball, the line, the speed of it, went right to the spot.
Of course, who could ever forget in that 2006 season playing for the Philadelphia Phillies when Aaron Rowan went crashing into the center field wall at Citizens Bank Park, fracturing his nose and numerous bones around his eye and his face. I don't think anybody could ever forget that play if you've seen it just one time.
You're right.
Oh, and 2 now on Brandon Phillips. And we'll do it again. Routine fly ball to left center for Rowan, and a 1-2-3 third for Barry Zito. We move to the 4th. The Giants in front 4-1. Can register to win the Tundra at Great American Ballpark by JTM. Food, family, fun, JTM. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by GMC, we are professional grade. Top of the 4th inning we go. 4 runs, 6 hits for the Giants. 1 run, 2 hits for the Reds. Johnny Cueto will face the latter third in the Giant batting order. Posey, Rowan, and Zito. Posey single to left, scored a run on a 2-out, 2-run single by Zito in the 2nd inning, and he has his 2nd hit tonight. But Cueto is fooling nobody that steps in the batter's box so far. We remind you, as always, you can chat with Hall of Fame baseball writer Hal McCoy right now on FoxSportsOhio.com, and then get a wrap-up of tonight's game right after it's over by going to FoxSportsOhio.com, presented by 1-800-SAFE-AUTO. Aaron Rowan flied out to Jay Bruce, his first time up. 0-2 to Rowan.
Looked like that was a changeup right there. A pitch that Johnny has not used all that much tonight. Seems to me, anyway, that he's been going primarily with fastball slider. They want to stay a little more stubborn with that one.
Popped up to Brandon Phillips for the first out here in the 4th inning, and we now turn our attention to our AT&T trivia question for tonight. Who was the last Reds player to win a National League batting title?
On the surface, you think that'd be a pretty easy answer.
Pete Rose.
Yeah.
That'd be my guess.
Mine too.
Talked about Barry Zito, what a good bunter he is. And you can't do it any better than that. Got a 2-run single his first time up and puts down his 6th sacrifice of this season already.
That means you're a good bunter. If you have 6 sacks already, you're a good bunter, and it also means that there's been somebody on base ahead of you an awful lot.
Well, you know, it was one thing that the Giants did not do well at all last year was put down sacrifice bunts. And I mean, when you're in independent races, they were last season. Those plays are certainly magnified as much as anything else. Juan Uribe had a memorably bad one in September of last year, as did a couple of others. And when Bruce Bochy came to spring training this year, he said, look, everybody better be working on their bunting every single day. Their pitchers worked on bunting 40 minutes a day. And Tim Flannery, their third base coach, said there's a reason why Barry Zito is so good. He said because nobody worked harder. And there's another base hit. They're going to wave around the runner. Here comes a throw from Stubbs in center field, and he is out at the plate. As Stubbs guns down Posey trying to score on the base hit by Torres. Still a 4-1 game thanks to Drew Stubbs. Just moments ago, the Reds making their first pick in the first round. Here's Commissioner Bud Selig.
With the 12th selection in the first round of the 2010 first-year player draft, the Cincinnati Reds select Yasmani Grandal, a catcher from the University of Miami, Coral Gables, Florida. The Chicago White Sox have the next pick, and they are now on the clock.
The top college ball is a switch hitting catcher 6'2", 210 pounds, out of the University of Miami, and we'll get more information on him in the upcoming moments. Part of the order for the Reds against Barry Zito here in the fourth. And Joey Votto off the end of the bat lifts a fly ball in the right center field that travels all the way to the track. But Votto knew he didn't get it. One away. We'll bring you up to speed on the first 12 selections in the Major League Draft. Of course, everybody's #1 pick, Bryce Harper. Young man who grew up in Las Vegas, and they say he's a once-in-a-generation talent. We're about to find out. Delino DeShields Jr., how about that?
Yeah, nice to see that.
Of course, his father, Delino Sr., a manager in the Reds minor league system. And he must be very, very excited tonight.
Interesting note on the Reds pick, Yasmani Grandal, the catcher from Miami. He was rumored to have already struck a pre-draft deal with the Kansas City Royals, who drafted 4th in the draft this year. So maybe they couldn't get together on money, and he dropped out of that slot, and the Reds ended up picking him up. They probably were surprised that he was still available come number 12.
Delino DeShields, by the way, is the manager at Billings in rookie ball in the Reds organization. And his son, the 8th pick in the Major League Baseball draft today. Three and one to Roland, who walked and scored in the Reds' second inning. Three and two. The Cardinals will play later tonight. They had to play on Sunday Night Baseball last night and then traveled across the country to open a series tonight in Los Angeles. Roland pulls it foul. And they'll be inserting Blake Hawksworth into their starting rotation for that game tonight in Los Angeles. It's a good series. It begins at Dodger Stadium tonight, as is San Diego and Philadelphia. Who would have thought that when this season began? They're scoreless in the 4th inning in the opener of that series. 3-2 again to Roland. Chases one out of the zone and fouls it away. You look at the top 6 teams in the National League and how they have fared against the Central Division. Look at the Giants, 12-3 record. Philadelphia, 11-3. And look at the Reds inside their own division. 8 games over 500. That ball hit hard to deep center field, and Rowan cannot get it off his glove, and then he kicks it away, and Roland's going to end up at third base. Well, we'll see how they rule that. It'll certainly be, at the minimum, a double and an error. They call it a 3-base hit, and that's the first triple of the year for Scott Roland.
Well, he's been on twice. He walked and scored the only Reds run, and now he's 90 feet away from scoring another. A ball that was actually out of the strike zone for Scott. Hits it a long way. Boy, the ball is carrying tonight here at this ballpark.
That's hard to figure in. It's a cool night.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of a breeze coming down the river, as it normally does, out towards the left center field wall. But we've seen balls that have been hit off the end of the bat. Joey Votto's ball went a long way. Aaron Rowan already went up against a bullpen fence to haul one back in off of the bat of Orlando Cabrera. He's getting a workout.
Johnny Gomes just missed hitting a home run his first time up. And looks at a fastball high. 1-0 to Johnny Gomes. Giants got 2 in the second. The Reds 1 in the bottom of the inning. The Giants 2 more in the third. And here we are in the bottom of the 4th inning. And Gomes did not like that call a little bit. You can't blame him. A sheepish grin as if to say, you got to be kidding.
Say whatever you want, but say it with a smile.
And again, he just missed it. But this will be deep enough to bring in a run. Tagging and scoring is rolling. And that makes it a 4-2 ball game. Johnny Gomes is 37th RBI.
Well, those are like cupcakes out there for Johnny Gomes. Runner at third base, less than 2 outs. All you got to do is put the ball in play. And it wasn't all that long ago that the Reds would have given anything to have a guy be able to put the ball in play with a runner at third base in less than 2. Johnny Gomes has been that guy many times, and just keep on adding to that run batted in total.
One and 0 to Jay Bruce. Bruce, a base hit, a double into left center field his first time up tonight. 1-1 to Jay Bruce. Now, we were talking about Mark Grace, and Chris, you had talked about an approach that Jay Bruce perhaps should take tonight against Zito. That ball blasted into deep right field, and whatever approach it is, it's working so far tonight. A one-run game. Home run number 8 for Jay Bruce, and it's 4-3 Giants in front.
Well, Jay Bruce got a fastball his first time up, and he lined a double left center field. This time, yep, maybe looking for a curveball, thinking, hey, Zito's not going to make the same mistake with a fastball, is he? So Bruce and Brooke Jacoby are one step ahead of me and one step ahead of Barry Zito. A couple of knocks off left-hander tonight. He's got to feel real good about that.
Now Drew Stubbs in a one-run game. Looks at a breaking ball strike. But, you know, Mark Grace used to say exactly what you said. Depending on who the pitcher is, he'd say, look, against a left-hander, if the guy throws, you know, fastball, breaking ball, like Zito, he'd say, look, I'm picking one or the other. I'm just going to sit every at-bat on breaking ball. And if he throws me a fastball, I'm taking it. And if he throws me 3 of them right down the middle, so be it. And we mentioned earlier, Grace, a tremendous hitter against left-handed pitching. There's a swing and a miss by Stubbs, and the inning is over, but the Reds get 2. And at the end of 4 have drawn within a run. For the Coors cold hard blast. You just saw it a moment ago off the bat of Jay Bruce. Reds get 2 in the 4th inning on Zito. And the Giants lead it 4-3 as we go to the 5th inning in the opening game of this 4-game series. Freddie Sanchez has been on twice, a walk and a single. He'll be followed by Sandoval and Aubrey Huff. You get the feeling if Cueto could find a groove here and put up some zeros, and this is a good way to get it started on the ground ball to Roland. Snatched out of the dirt by Votto. A rare poor throw by Roland, and Votto digs him out. You get the feeling that the Reds have some more runs in them tonight against Zito.
I think we have not seen the last of scoring by either team.
Well, time to answer our AT&T trivia question tonight. The Reds' last player to win a National League batting title, we guess Pete Rose. Pete Rose. Of course, the closest to do it since Rose was Hal Morris. Yeah. What he lose it the final day of the season, if I'm not mistaken. Tony Gwynn, I think, got 4 hits the final game of that year to win the National League batting title. 0-2 to Sandoval. That ball mashed on an 0-2 pitch right at Johnny Gomes. So now Aubrey Huff, who bounced out to Votto ending the first inning, and he doubled to left field and scored one of the 2 Giant runs in the third. One to Aubrey Huff. 1-2. Much better stuff, it appears, in this inning by Cueto.
A much better location. I mean, just look where he is now. He's down below the waist, down around the knees. I mean, that's where he really ought to stay. Where he makes his mistakes is that he just kind of lazy in his finish of a pitch, and the ball rides up around waist high. I really think some pitchers leave it up because they try to overthrow and their body gets ahead of their arm a little bit. They never really finish it. I think when Johnny, in this game anyway, when he's left it up, he's just been kind of lazy about finishing that pitch. If you get right out there and do that, you're going to have some action.
First strikeout of the night for Cueto. He has his first perfect inning. The Reds right back to the plate, down a run. a kid. And now you can live out that dream at Reds Fantasy Camp. Don't miss out on this great opportunity in Goodyear, Arizona at the Reds' new state-of-the-art baseball complex. It runs February 5th through February 12th, 2011. For more information, visit Reds.com/fantasy camp. Chris Welsh, you are a regular at Reds Fantasy Camp, and I know every year you talk about what a great time it is.
It is, Tom. I tell you, we get you down there one year, you'll be a regular. It's as good as it gets. The facility down there is awesome. The weather, they tell me this year, I missed it this year for the first time in several years because the Reds Winter Caravan happened to be scheduled at the same time.
Well, they can't do that to you next year.
I hope not.
I mean, that stinks.
Well, they didn't give me a choice. So would you rather go on a caravan, the snowy parts of eastern Ohio, West Virginia, or would you rather head to Phoenix and then take a little bus out to Goodyear?
Well, you know, I know where you're going now, but I got to tell you, I mean, I know you feel the same way. I love the caravan.
I don't want to miss the caravan.
I know. It is awesome. It is so much fun. Ramon Hernandez to lead things off here in the Reds' 5th inning, trailing Barry Zito and the Giants 4-3. Told you the Reds' #1 draft pick, Yasmani Grandal, a switch hitting catcher out of the University of Miami. As it's 3-1 on Hernandez. Of course, their #1 pick in 2007 appears, Chris, to be getting it together. Devin Mesorasko.
Yeah, Devin Mesorasko. A lot of people kind of scratched their head about that pick because he was a high school catcher. And usually you don't see those guys drafted in the first round. Now, the Reds recently have gone a lot more towards college players. And Yasmani Grandal, a college player, he was already drafted previously out of high school in the 27th round by the Red Sox. Did not sign, went to the University of Miami, and was eligible this year.
Fouled away. Mesorasko last year in Sarasota hit 8 home runs with 37 RBIs, 22 doubles.
It's a hard place to hit.
This year in 43 games in Lynchburg before just being moved up to Carolina, had 10 home runs, 31 RBIs, and was batting .335.
Wow.
He just got called up a week ago. Fouled out play again by Hernandez. So perhaps at just 21 years young, Mesorasko is starting to figure it out offensively. But now he's got competition to try and become the future regular everyday catcher with a major league club.
Well, you get a kid coming right out of college.
Base hit right field by Hernandez to begin the Reds' 5th.
We see sometimes those college players, I mean, other than Mike Leake, he's the exception, but I mean an everyday player, you know, you can pretty much put those guys right into high A or double A and not really skip a beat, because if he's played at the University of Miami, that's high caliber college baseball. And that is a high caliber swing by Hernandez. We've seen him do that how many times?
Now, if I'm not mistaken, the University of Miami, they had a regional in the opening round of the College World Series at their place, which I think they won over the weekend. So his season's still ongoing.
Okay.
So, you know, normally you don't get guys signed right away. So maybe we'll get a chance to see him play on TV if they reach the College World Series.
Well, we did that with last year's pick, or 2 years ago pick, Yonder Alonso. Didn't we see him play in the regionals or on the way to the College World Series after he was already selected by the Reds?
And Mike Leake last year with Arizona State.
Funny how Mike Leake, I think, has looked better in the big leagues than he did in the college last year.
You're right. In the World Series, you're right.
Glad to get away from those aluminum bats.
Well, Johnny Cueto trying to put down his 3rd sacrifice of the year and get that tying run into scoring position. 0-2 to Cueto.
Now, these are the little things that guys stay down in the minor leagues extra time to work on. And this is one thing that Barry Zito, you talked about him being an excellent bunter. He had no clue at all when he came over from the Oakland A's and signed that huge contract with the Giants. He had the American League mentality. He didn't know how to hold runners. He didn't know what an empty base meant, to pitch around a guy to get to the pitcher. He didn't know anything about bunting, and he has worked and worked and worked to become one of the better bunters, and he's got a lot better idea of National League Baseball now.
Cueto can't get it done.
Who says a curveball is the easiest pitch in baseball to bunt? Not so.
Well, it's time now for the Red, White, and Blue Barbecue Sweepstakes, presented by the Ohio Department of Public Safety. Fans, if you go to foxsportsohio.com right now and enter the keyword double play, that's double play, every entry has a chance to win a catered party for 20 from Curly's Barbecue, a 50-inch high-definition television, and a $500 gas card. Boy, what a good deal that is. But you got to go to foxsportsohio.com right now and type in the words double play. Orlando Cabrera struck out and flied out to the wall in deep left center field. Foul out of play on 2. You know, a lot of the pitchers in the National League West especially, they pitch in some of those huge ballparks out there, San Francisco being one, San Diego, of course, being the largest of all, and even to a lesser extent, Dodger Stadium, although that has certainly been more homer-friendly in recent years than at any time prior. But they're stunned when they walk into this ballpark and all of a sudden, you know, balls are flying out of here that aren't even reaching the warning track when they're pitching at home. There's a fly ball to right for the second out of the inning.
That's why the Reds ought to continue to try to develop their pitching talent in the minor leagues, because you're going to play heck trying to get a top-notch free agent pitcher. Unless he is a prolific ground ball pitcher to come into this ballpark, you're going to have to pay more to get one of those pitchers, because other teams, like you mentioned, San Francisco, San Diego, big ballpark teams, New York Mets, are going to be offering the guy similar money, and he's going to look at their dimensions and the dimensions here and say, well, do I want to pitch to an earned run average of 4.5 or 3.5? And sometimes the decision is pretty simple.
Well, the Reds down a run. They got a leadoff single to begin the inning from Hernandez, who's still standing at first. And that one pulled down the left field line towards the corner. That's up against the wall. Hernandez on his way to third. They'll hold him there on a double by Brandon Phillips. For Phillips, that is already 18 two-base hits this year. And now the tying run is 90 feet away, and the go-ahead run in scoring position.
And Brandon Phillips, you know, eventually he's going to get a pretty good swing at Barry Zito on the night. He popped one up, hit one to the center fielder. This one he did not miss. Hit it right on the button. He'll send the runner over to third with Hernandez there. And this ball game's got offense written all over it. And we built it as a pitching matchup at the very onset.
So now a quick meeting on the mound amongst a trio of Buster Posey, Barry Zito, and the first baseman Audrey Huff. And here's Joey Votto, 0 for 2 in the game. Votto just missed clubbing one out of here to right field in the 4th inning. And a sharp one hopper right at Sanchez, and that's that. Votto 0 for 3 tonight. Reds strand 2. We play 5, and the Giants are in front 4-3.
here on Fox Sports Ohio. Jim Day back with you. And as you've heard, the Reds have made their selection in this year's entry draft. It's a switch-hitting catcher out of University of Miami, Yasmani Grandal. We'd like to know, in our text poll question tonight, it's brought to you by Meyer. Who's your favorite first-round draft pick of the Reds of late? Text 1 for Homer Bailey, who was drafted back in 04. Man, it doesn't seem that long. Text 2 for Jay Bruce, 3 for Drew Stubbs, or 4 for the incredible Mike Leake. Text your answers to 37664. Standard text message rates apply. We'll have the results coming up. Guys upstairs, I imagine this is going to be a battle between Mr. Leake and Mr. Bruce.
I think you're right, and if most of the folks at home are like a lot of the rest of us, Chris, and that means you play the hot hand, it probably means Mike Leake's going to win.
Not me. I'm going for number 5, Barry Larkin.
Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Give me a whole pile of him.
Hall of Famer, will be. Reds Hall of Famer. Played his whole career here, from here.
And representing the Reds tonight.
Yes, he is.
At the Major League Baseball draft, along with our dear friend, Gene Bennett.
See, I wasn't going to fall into that trap, you trying to make me a front runner.
So are you saying that you are not a front runner?
Absolutely correct. As far as you know.
Oh, I know. All right, a 4-3 game. Giants bat in the 6th inning. Juan Uribe got a 2-run single to put the Giants ahead 4-1 in the 3rd inning. Johnny Cueto coming off his first 1-2-3 inning in the 5th. Pat Burrell to follow, and then Buster Posey. Routine ground ball down to Scotty Roller. 1 away. We tell you all the time, but don't forget you can take the Reds with you on the road this year by subscribing to MLB.tv and see every Reds game live or on demand on your computer. Visit Reds.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv. Baseball everywhere. Here's Burrow. Well, so far, folks at home playing a hot hand. I mean, why wouldn't you? Mike Leake has never lost a game. Right? Saw where the very well thought of baseball writer, Buster Olney, there's a base hit into left field by Burrow. You know, with all the buildup, tomorrow night, the Major League debut of Steven Strasburg for the Washington Nationals against the Pittsburgh Pirates. And, you know, the article went on to say that every person who evaluates talent at the major leagues believes Strasburg will be a great pitcher for many, many years to come. But the column went on to note that, you know, with all the buildup of Strasburg, he would be well served by doing what Mike Leake has done so far this year. Leake unquestionably, at least in this column, baseball's best and most impressive rookie pitcher so far in 2010. It's a very nice article written about Mike Leake. He's getting a lot of pub lately, national pub.
Well, he should.
USA Today, Bob Nightingale did a very nice column on Mike Leake last week, as Cueto now is running into problems again. He allows a hit. Now he hits Posey, and they're 2 on with 1 out.
Well, he came 3rd in the league this year, came tied into this ball game. Not Mike Leake, but Johnny Cueto in hit batters with 4. That makes him 5. It'll separate himself from the big pack of people who are all tied at 4. He's been keeping the ball down better the last couple of innings. If you're looking at what you've done for me lately.
Aaron Rowan, the number 8 hitter, center fielder, is 0 for 2. His fly to right and popped up to Brandon
So
Phillips.
what was the point that Buster Olney made about Steven Strasburg? What can Strasburg do?
He said just be like Mike Leake.
It's 2 completely styles of pitching.
Yep.
Different. And it's obvious, you know. I mean, we've said it before that the Reds went for command over stuff. Because if you evaluate the stuff of Mike Leake in a bullpen, you're not all that impressed. You see him pitch in a ball game, it's a different story. If you see Strasburg in the bullpen, you're going to be wowed. It's like watching a Aroldis Chapman pitch. Unlimited potential. But you don't need to strike them all out. You just need to get them all out.
Aroldis Chapman, by the way, will be starting again tonight for Louisville. Coming off his best outing as a professional, his last start. One ball and one strike to Aaron Rowan, and a base hit into center field by Rowan. They're going to hold the runner at third this time. Stubbs has already thrown out one runner at the plate. And Aaron Rowan, who came into this game struggling as much as any player in baseball. That is only his 5th hit in his last 33 at-bats.
Johnny Cueto throws that ball, not all that bad of a pitch, but Rowan is on it. I mean, he's just not separating his breaking ball from his fastball enough. Even after coming inside and hitting Buster Posey with the pitch in a previous at-bat, they're feeling real comfortable up there right now, and Brian Price is going to go out and have a talking to him.
Well, Cueto very fortunate to be where he is in the batting order. Of course, you say that with a pitcher coming up. And Barry Zito already has a 2-run single in the game. But with the bases loaded and 1 out, if Cueto can find a way to strike out Zito, or, you know, at the minimum get him to put the ball on the ground or something, a pop-up preventing a run from scoring, he's got a chance to get out of this thing.
Well, meanwhile, double barrel action in the Reds bullpen. The Twin Towers are at it.
Chris, how do you explain Johnny Cueto going on a 6-start roll with an ERA of 1.8, and now in 2 games in a row through 5 innings in each start, he's allowed a total of 20 hits and 12 runs.
Throwing the ball down the middle. I mean, sometimes you find a groove where you're throwing the ball and it hits the corner and stays down right where you want it. And unless you can be your own pitching coach out there and diagnose what you're doing wrong, you're going to get into ball games in the middle of a game, middle of an inning, where things are going to go wacky on you, and you're going to throw it down the middle. And he's just not quite there yet to be able to diagnose what's going on.
1-1 to Barry Zito. Foul away. That's almost the exact same spot, about what, 20 feet to the right, where Zito knocked in 2 runs with a single his first time up.
He's just trying to flick that bat out there and see if he can't duplicate it.
One and 2, and a roller foul.
By the way, Tom, you were talking about the start that Aroldis Chapman was to make tonight for the Louisville Bats against the Pawtucket Red Sox. Not too good for Chapman. 2 innings, 6 hits, 7 runs, 6 walks, 1 strikeout.
1-2 to Zito. Struck him out for the 2nd out of the inning. And now Cueto, 1 more out to go to get out of this inning and keep it a 1-run game. Andres Torres struck out swinging in the 1st, struck out swinging in the 2nd. Had a single in the center field in the 4th inning. That was a base hit, which Buster Posey was thrown out at the plate. And a fastball misses inside, ball 1.
Hey, Reds fans, JTM wants to know, how do you 32? Grab a bag of JTM's new 32-count burgers and visit howdoyou32.com for more details. JTM, food, family, fun.
1-1 to Torres. Cueto knocking on the door of 100 pitches, just 4 shy of that number here in the 6th inning. He gave up 2 in the second, 2 in the third, and the Giants have him loaded with 2 outs here in the 6th. High fastball swung on and missed.
Now that's a high fastball that he's been trying to throw all night long, and he finally got it up high enough and in enough. That's an awfully tough pitch to get to, especially for a lot of left-handers. They like the ball down.
Crowd getting behind Cueto. And he's run the count full, missing on a slider down and in.
Well, he threw a fastball by him on a 2-2 or 2-1 count. Made it 2-2. Missed with a slider on the 2-2 count. Now what do you go 3-2 with the bases loaded? Something that you can throw for a strike.
High pop up into foul territory, and this one will drift out of play. And he threw the fastball 3-2.
And I think you do it again. I mean, if you're Johnny Cueto and you cannot trust your fastball, something's wrong.
Two to Torres. And again fouled away. Torres making it tough on the Reds right-handed. Boy, does he need this out. Been an 8-pitch at bat so far for Torres. Cueto goes to the rosin bag quickly and now wants a new baseball from the home plate umpire Paul Lemel. This will certainly be the final inning for Johnny Cueto, and he's trying to cap it off with a scoreless 6. Straight away center field, hit a ton. Stubbs at the wall, makes a grab. Deepest part of the yard, and Cueto needed every single foot. The Giants leave them loaded. Dusty's team comes to bat in the bottom of the 6th, still down a run. the Coors Light 6th inning, and now it's time for the Coors Light Freeze Can. On a base hit into center field in the 4th inning. Up throwing is Drew Stubbs and cuts down Posey. On the tag by Ramon Hernandez, and that was the Coors Light Freeze Can. Brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. So Johnny Cueto escapes trouble in the top of the 6th inning. It's a 4-3 game. And here comes Roland, Gomes, and Bruce. And this trio has done a lot of damage to Barry Zito tonight. Roland walked and scored in the 2nd, tripled and scored in the 4th. Roland 14 home runs so far this year. And looks at a breaking ball in. Do the Reds have yet another come from behind win in them? They have 19 so far this year, most in the major leagues. And of course they did it again yesterday in D.C. Another game, by the way, which they won in their final at bat. They lead the major leagues in that category with 11 of those. In the air, right field, and playable for Torres. One away. Baseball's biggest stars will get together in one spectacular night as Fox brings you every thrilling moment of the 2010 Major League Baseball All-Star Game from Anaheim. Coverage begins Tuesday, July the 13th at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox. And this year, I would imagine we might see more than just the typical maybe one Red. Last couple of years, it has been Francisco Cordero. Gomes pops it up on the very first pitch. And Zito with 2 away to begin this 6th inning. That's 4 pitches to get the first 2 batters for Barry Zito here in the 6th inning. And now Jay Bruce, a perfect 2 for 2, a double to left center and a home run to right. Jay chasing a high fastball there, and he's behind 1-2. Base hit left field. Boy, what a night it's been for Jay Bruce against one of the better left-handers in the league. 3 for 3.
Much more controlled swing, and what a great adjustment he makes when he gets 2 strikes on him. A short stride, keeps his hands close to his body, and then he keeps his head very still as he just takes that ball. A 1-2 pitch, and not a bad one either. It's on the outer part of the plate and lines it to the left side of the infield right by the third baseman.
So now Stubbs, an RBI single to center in the 2nd inning. Zito struck him out swinging in the 4th. Bruce a tying run at first base with 2 away in the inning. Jay started, stopped. And the first pitch high to Stubbs, ball 1.
Now, we haven't seen Posey obviously behind the plate at all, but they tell me he's got a great arm. Very athletic back there. The question was, how would he respond to calling a game? Well, they sent him out there with one of the more veteran pitchers the Giants have in Barry Zito.
Stubbs for looking for something to hammer here at 2 balls and no strikes. 1 on, 2 out. And it's high again.
And trying a 2-0 changeup right there. And Zito momentarily has lost his touch on location. Green light him here?
Oh, yeah. You?
Yes.
Nowhere near the zone. A 4-pitch walk. Second of the game issued by Zito. And now you have Ramon Hernandez coming up there with a tying run in scoring position. And Dave Righetti, a long-time Giant pitching coach, will come out and have a visit with Barry Zito.
Long-time Major League pitcher. Was a starter and a reliever. Of course, he pitched a no-hitter on the 4th of July, I think, against the Boston Red Sox.
You would be absolutely
as a member of the New York Yankees. Former roommate of mine.
Really?
And he's been able to live to tell about it.
Wow. How long ago was that?
That was back in the days of the club. We were both playing for the Columbus Clippers.
Holy Moses. Yeah, that no-hitter on the 4th of July was 1983.
Yeah. Well, he had the stuff. I'll tell you. You talk about a guy that took no-hit stuff to the mound every time he went out there. He had a left-hander with some gas.
All right, here's Hernandez. He bounced into a double play in the 2nd inning, had a single into right field in the 5th. Of course, Hernandez and Zito go back a long way. They were battery mates on those Oakland Athletic teams together. Well, Johnny Cueto's spot due up next, but there's no way he's going to bat in this inning unless perhaps Hernandez were to homer. But Ramon looking for something to, at the minimum, tie this baby up right here and right now with 2 on and 2 out and a 2-0 count. Zito okays a sign with Posey, and now the 2-0 pitch. A check swing, and it's in the dirt. 3-0. They're going to appeal, but he didn't go around. Oh, you asked a question a moment ago on Stubbs. 3-0. Would you green light him? No doubt. Hernandez 3-0. I would imagine you're thinking the same thing.
Well, he's hitting the number 8 spot, so you're going to be green lighting him in front of the pitcher spot. Obviously, Johnny Cueto on the warm-up rubber right now. The on-deck circle, that is, but they're going to set up a pinch hitter for him. I green light him absolutely. If he likes it, let him slash a single in right field.
Takes on the inside corner, strike, 3-1. All right, let's see if Hernandez now talking to himself up there at the plate. If he can tie this baby up. 3-1 pitch. Oh, he thought it was ball 4.
Yeah, late call by Paul Emmel right there. He didn't look like he had a lot of conviction behind that one.
Now 3-2 with 2 away. The runners will get started. That's Jay Bruce at second, and the fastest Red with an early jump is Drew Stubbs over at first. Three balls, 2 strikes. Fouled away. Barely.
Best fastball of the night, velocity-wise, for Barry Zito. That one he pumped up there at 89.
The Giants have action in their bullpen for the first time tonight. Sergio Romo throwing. But all eyes right now on this matchup of Zito against Ramon Hernandez in a one-run game. 2 outs, 2 on. 3-2 pitch again. Ball 4, and they are loaded for who? Miguel Cairo. Now it's time for the Pains Comfort Zone pitching numbers on the Reds left-hander Daniel Ray Herrera. He's gotten better and better with each passing day of late. And we're going to see him when the Giants bat in the 7th inning, but plenty of drama between then and now. As Miguel Cairo, who got all that playing time in place of Joey Votto, who missed 7 straight games with a stiff neck. And all Cairo did was just knock the cover off the ball. He started 6 straight games at first base. Hit safely in each one of them. Had 2 2-hit games and 2 3-hit games. He went 12 for 28 during that stretch with 2 doubles, 2 homers, 3 RBIs, and scored 8 times.
You know, most pinch hitters, when they come out of the on-deck circle, they've got to be ready to hit the first pitch. First pitch fastball hitters, most of them are. But against Barry Zito, that may not be the best strategy. You may want to get an idea of what his stuff looks like a little bit, because he's not one to come right after you with a fastball down Broadway, especially with the bases open in this ballpark.
Cairo ready. Bases loaded, 2 away. First pitch breaking ball snaps in there, a strike. Oh, and 1 to Cairo, and a breaking ball is down and in. Cairo 11 career at-bats against Barry Zito. He has 2 hits in the 11 at-bats, but one of the hits a home run. And Cairo, for the record this year with the bases loaded, a perfect 2 for 2. A big deep breath by Miguel. And a 1-1. Swung on and missed. Another curveball from Zito.
Boy, Barry Zito likes that left side of his brim of his cap, doesn't he? Seems to go to it a lot. Right before the yacker. And you can see a little discoloration on top of that brim. Or bill.
1-2 to Cairo. Breaking ball and a base hit into left field by Cairo. 1 run will score, and 2 runs will score. And how about Miguel Cairo? All those at bats. And we talked about it when Votto returned, how it would make him a better pinch hitter by racking up all those numbers. And boy, does he come up big tonight.
Well, Barry Zito went to the well with that curveball one too many times, and this time he hung it up a little bit. Cairo hits it on the ground in a 5.5 ball between third and short. And the Reds have come back once again.
Well, Zito ran into problems after retiring the first 2 batters on 4 pitches in this inning. He allowed a single on a 2-strike pitch to Bruce. He walked Stubbs. He walked Hernandez. And allows a 2-run single to Miguel Cairo, giving the Reds a 5-4 lead. Our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen brings on Sergio Romo. The Reds have Orlando Cabrera coming up, and they have a 1-run lead. We'll be back. 2 on, 2 out. Sergio Romo comes on to face Orlando Cabrera. First pitch breaking ball away. Romo takes over for Barry Zito, who gives up 2 runs here in the 6th inning, and the Reds have a 1-run lead and looking for more. Pretty nifty curveball there from the right-hander.
Not an overpowering fastball by any means. He'll get it up there 90, 92 miles an hour, but he'll keep it down, and he loves to throw that slider. Lots of strikeouts and very few bases on balls.
He has blanked the opposition over his last 9 games, spanning 9 innings. And opposing batters during the last 9 games, only 3 hits and 28 at-bats. Against Romo, 1-1 pitch. Fastball grounded foul. So Johnny Cueto able to get that final out with the bases loaded in the 6th inning. And the Reds rally with 2 outs and nobody on to take the lead. Cueto now in line to get a win if the Reds bullpen can maintain this lead.
Johnny was in line to get a win his last start, had the Reds bullpen maintain the lead despite giving up 8 runs in 5 innings. Living right. Do not throw it up there. Talk about quick on the high pitch. Hey, I'm not telling you anything the scouts don't already know, but if you see Orlando Cabrera, the way he holds his bat nice and flat, he's got that baby geared for something up around letters.
Hernandez a runner at second, Cairo at first. And a breaking ball away to even a count of 2-2. Two in, 2 on, 2 out. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Romo a check of the runners, and now the pitch. Time was called by Cabrera and granted by Paul Lemel, the home plate umpire. Romo the pause, and now to 2-2 to Cabrera. Breaking ball swung on and missed to end the inning, but the Reds get a pinch hit. 2-run single by Miguel Cairo. We go to the 7th. The Reds lead 5-4.
Switch hitting catcher, power from both sides of the plate, very polished, so we're excited to get him. He's a plus thrower. He threw out 40% of the runners this year at the University of Miami, so he's a well above defensive player that, like I said, is a switch hitter with power from both sides.
Well, there you get a look at Chris Buckley, the senior director of amateur scouting for the Reds in his 5th year in that job, and by all accounts, he's done an outstanding job. And here's Yasmani Grandal. You see the numbers. Bear in mind, these are in 59 games this year. 14 home runs, 56 runs batted in, 23 doubles. And apparently a very good eye at the plate as well.
Well, he walked 55 times and he struck out only 34 times. So when you've got, quite a bit more bases on balls than you do strikeouts, you've got a good idea of the strike zone. And it sounds to me like the Reds know what they're talking about.
Well, Chris has really done a good job here.
He certainly has.
After coming from really, at one time, one of the best, if not the best, organization in baseball for drafting and developing players. Spent 17 years in Toronto.
Well, the interesting thing is that, how many years in a row did we hear the likes of Chris Grueller and Ty Howington and guys that never, never even made it out of A-ball, it seemed like. And they were your #1 draft pick. And I think maybe the philosophy has changed to the point where for so many years the Reds were drafting because they wanted signability. They wanted to make sure they got the guy signed, and they would give a 3rd-round pick, take him in the 1st round, and give him a little bit more money than he get in the 3rd round, but he wouldn't get him 1st-round money. And they never really got the best player available. And I think that since Chris Buckley has gotten here, there's been a commitment of ownership and a much better scouting all the way around.
Daniel A. Herrera now takes over on the mound following Johnny Cueto, and Herrera out there with a 1-run lead. This has been very much an up and down Reds bullpen, as many of you know so far this year. 3-2 on Freddie Sanchez. And that one blistered into left field, a base hit. Sanchez, a leadoff single. We remind you tonight's game on Fox Sports Ohio is brought to you by AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By your Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky Honda dealers. Visit mycincinnatihondadealer.com. And by Grainger, with over 900,000 products for the ones who get it done. Downtown Cincinnati. We were talking with the Giants broadcasters before the game tonight. Have been coming here forever. And the first thing they said when we saw them today was, man, is this downtown on the move. So impressed with what is being done in this city, and certainly with the Banks project now well underway, the casino on the way right around the corner. Downtown's a happening spot again. 1-0 to Sandoval.
That's the first thing they said.
The very first thing both of them said to me when I saw them today.
Maybe they were just kind of in a roundabout way finding out if you were going to dig into your pocket and buy them a beer, because the first thing they asked me is, is Tom Brenneman finally going to buy us a beer?
Well, they know the answer already.
Good. Glad you got that covered.
It's a big negative. 2-0 to Pablo Sandoval. And a little flare, shallow center field, a base hit. So Herrera's come in, faced 2 right-handed batters, and has allowed back-to-back hits, and here we go.
No, he didn't hit it hard. There's an old saying that you hit it as hard as he threw it. But Sandoval can flat out hit. There's no question about that. So can Freddie Sanchez. Not the prettiest of all swings right there, but he gets the job done with a blooping line drive into center field.
Well, now it'll be Aubrey Huff, a left-handed batter who's bounced to first, doubled to left, scored a run, and struck out. This is the batter for Herrera to retire here. One and 0 on Huff. And now it's 2-0.
Missed twice with the same pitch, little slider.
Fooled Huff there, was looking breaking ball, and a fastball ran in on him. Of course, Herrera entered Friday night's game in D.C. with a score tied at 2 and the bases loaded, and got Adam Dunn to ground out on the very first pitch in the at-bat. 2-1 delivery. Fouled straight back to even it up. Del Rosario apparently is ready in the Reds bullpen. Here's a 2-2 to Huff. And pulled to the right side. Phillips will go to the covering Herrera, and they get the out there. What a nice job by Daniel Ray. But the runners advance second and third, 1 out in the inning.
Oh, nice job by Brandon Phillips, too. Joey Votto first goes for the ball, and then he's going to think about coming back to the first base bag. But Daniel Ray Herrera's got that covered, the throw up. But as soon as he covers the bag, watch how Daniel Ray Herrera stops and turns, just in case that runner at third base decides to make a little move towards home plate. This is the play that they practice in spring training day after day after day. And they got it right.
Well, you have right-handed batting Juan Uribe coming up. Then a righty and Pat Burrows, so Dusty Baker will go to the bullpen. And the rookie Del Rosario will come on with runners at second and third. The Reds leading by a run and 1 out in the 7th. We'll be back. Cats Friday at 6, your chance to test your Reds knowledge, and who knows, you might win prizes or end up on Reds Live after the game on Fox Sports Ohio. Fat Cats this Friday night. Runners at second and third, 1 out. The Reds leading 5-4. A Nerio Del Rosario brought up for a second time from Louisville, most recently last Tuesday, on to face Juan Uribe. Del Rosario is having an outstanding year down at AAA Louisville. 21 games, a 2.5 ERA. Had very good control. Only 5 walks in the minor leagues, but he allows a base hit, and the Giants have the lead again. Boy, this Reds bullpen, you just never know night to night outside of Arthur Rhodes what you're going to get.
Well, it's really an ongoing audition for some of the young guys, and you know, you got to wonder now, you know, what Dusty Baker can do to bring somebody in that he knows who can get an out. I mean, You bring a guy in and say, all right, really all I want you to do is get this guy out right here. Just get the right-hander out for me, and then I'll take care of it from there. The 2 base hits to lead the inning are the ones that came in, and those are Daniel Ray Herrera's.
I mean, it's amazing when you think about it that the Reds are 9 games over 500 when you look at just the numbers of the bullpen. There are only 3 teams in the entire league who have an earned run average higher than the Reds bullpen. And one of those right now is on pace to go down as one of the worst bullpens of all time, and that's in Arizona. And there's really nothing the manager can do about it. I know a lot of people like to blame the manager for everything that happens in every city, on every team in the country. Every one of them. Doesn't matter who. But he can't pitch Arthur Rhodes every single day.
Well, the one good thing, Tom, is that, you know, if you deplete your prospects from AAA that you have that you think that you can help your bullpen, that middle relief is one area where a general manager can address the problem at the trading deadline and get some players. If you need somebody of major proportion, you need a starting catcher or a starting center fielder or, you know, #1 pitcher, you're not going to get one. But if you need middle relief help, they're out there.
Fly ball into right field. So Del Rosario allows a hit. Retires the next 2. But the Giants scored twice and have recaptured the lead, 6-5.
During the next Paycor Business Day game this Thursday, all-you-can-eat seats will be only $20. So drop off your business card at the fan accommodation station, and you can win tickets to the next Paycor Business Day game. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or go to reds.com. All you can eat for $20. It'll be a great day on Thursday. Come on out and join us.
And of course, you don't have to wait long for the next one. The next one's coming up a week from Thursday when the Dodgers wrap up their 3-game series in this 10-game homestand.
Nice.
All right, heart of the order. Against Sergio Romo, the Reds forced to come back yet again. They scored twice in the 6th inning to take a 1-run lead, give it right back up. And Brandon Phillips quickly down a strike. Brandon 1 for 3, double to left field his last time up in the 5th. So Johnny Cueto can no longer win it. Barry Zito can no longer lose it. The pitchers of record right now, Daniel Ray Herrera and Sergio Romo. Well, certainly food for thought. The Giants closer, and they have a very good one down there in Brian Wilson. He blew a save yesterday, wound up getting the win, but threw 40 pitches out of their bullpen, spanning an inning plus yesterday against the Pirates. They wound up bringing in Santiago Casilla to get his first save, replacing a struggling Wilson in the 10th inning yesterday. Pretty good breaking ball this Romo has.
Yeah, he really does. You know, he's got a pitch that goes into right-handers and a pitch that goes wickedly away from right-handers, and that fastball of his is really the setup pitch. Here's a slider again. Starts at outer third, and the ball ends up about 6 inches outside. Pretty simple approach, but he's got the kind of arm action with a lot of fastball action as well, so that's what makes that slider so good. He shakes off the fastball to go back to the slider.
And a bouncing ball to the shortstop, Uribe. One away. We'd like to send out a get well wish to a loyal Reds fan, Patty Langdon. Young lady in her late 70s was hit by a car chasing after her dog to make sure her dog was going to be all right yesterday. She wound up breaking her foot and her ankle. And Patty, we know you're watching tonight. Get well soon. A quiet night, a rare quiet night for Joey Votto. He's 0 for 3, but all those at bats came against Barry Zito. This is normally the time of the game when Votto gets down to business. Late and tight.
Yeah, we've seen it before, though. Joey Votto looks out of sync on the first couple of at-bats in a ball game, and then all of a sudden he centers one. He did not look comfortable against Zito.
Got a pitch to hit right there, and you see Joey barking at himself. He fouls it away. Reds are down a run. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning with 1 out and nobody on. And it remains 1 ball, 2 strikes on Joey Votto.
Yeah, you look at Joey Votto in between pitches, and he kind of stares up off to the left field stand, sometimes up beyond the left field foul pole. And it's a visualization technique that he's been using over the last couple of years to try to clear his mind a little bit. Maybe it was a bad swing the one before. Just try to clear everything out so you can concentrate 100% on the pitch.
And he's hit with a pitch on a breaking ball. So the painful way, but the tying run aboard with 1 out.
That's the one dangerous thing about a right-handed slider coming into a left-hander. If you leave it out over the plate, it's a long home run. If you get it in there too far, you risk hitting the guy on the shin. That's exactly what happened.
Well, that's going to be all for Romo. He will leave as the Giants will go to their bullpen with 1 on and 1 out. The Giants leading 6-5 in the 7th. Back in a moment.
You talk about a guy with a pretty good arm, you may say so with him. Casilla, scouts are telling me that he throws anywhere from 94 to 99. A dirty, filthy dirty, sinking fastball that runs all over the place. A little hard slider that he likes to throw to right-handers down and away. So they take one right-hander out and relieve him with another, but this guy brings it up there in a hurry.
Pitched 5 innings in 8 games with 10 strikeouts since the Giants brought him up on May the 21st. He's only allowed 2 walks and 2 hits in those 8 games, and is not allowed a hit yet to a left-handed batter. And by the way, you know, when you're a setup guy, one of the most important numbers to look at, inherited runners. He has stranded 11 of the 12 runners which he has inherited when coming on from a Giant bullpen.
That's what that high strikeout total can do for you. You'll strand them out there if they don't make contact. He's no rookie. He made his first major league debut in 2004, right across the bay from San Francisco, and spent all of his major league years between 2004 and 2009 and parts of with the Oakland A's.
Scott Rowland will be the man he faces with 1 on and 1 out, and the Reds down a run in the 7th. Rowland has walked and scored, tripled and scored, and flied out to right. Very slow to the plate is Casilla, and you got to look on that first pitch. Joey Votto very much measuring the move to the plate by Casilla. Votto with 6 steals and 9 attempts on the year. And that's not much of a move. We don't know if that is his best move. But if it is, Votto could take about an 8-step lead.
Well, that's the one thing about coming from the American League over the National League. A lot of these guys really don't hone their art of holding runners in the American League because it's not all that much of a stealing league.
1-1 to Rowland.
Nifty 96.
Boy, Votto could walk to second base on this guy. Now, of course, he could be getting a don't run sign. But Casilla is not going to fool anybody with his move. And there it is again.
Yeah, he doesn't have much confidence in throwing the ball to first base. You can see it's almost a changeup. He may have quick feet, but a very slow arm.
Foul away, 1-2 to Rowland. One ball, 2 strikes. And Votto goes, swing and a miss, throw down to second. Votto did not get a good jump. He waited a long time before he ever took off. Actually was caught in between taking his secondary lead when he decided to run. There you get a look at it. He was pretty much at a standstill, and a double play ends the inning. Jaguar performance of the game, and so far it's been a mighty good night for Jay Bruce. Had a double in the left center his first time up, and then homer the next time.
Well, you know, when you come out and face a left-hander like Barry Zito, you prepare yourself thinking, all right, I better notch my game up a little bit. Boy, did he ever do that. A double, a homer, a single. I really like the base hit the single the best because it was a 1-2 count. Zito threw him a real good pitch. He just went with it to left field. We're watching him get better right before our very eyes.
Well, we go to the 8th, 6 runs, 13 hits, 7 men left on base for the Giants. Reds have 5 runs, 8 hits, they've left 5. Nerio Del Rosario starts with a clean inning. You may remember he came on after Herrera dirtied things up in the 7th. With runners at second and third and only 1 out. Del Rosario allowed a base hit to knock in the go-ahead run and retired the next 2 batters after that. Pulled down the left field line towards the corner, and that is a foul ball. Nate Scherholtz has moved into the on-deck circle and will bat for Casilla. And I would imagine we'll see some mixing and matching here during the 8th inning. With Guillermo Mota, perhaps Jeremy Affeldt, a left-hander, although Mota is the only one getting loose. Boy, it seems like every 3 or 4 years, Guillermo Mota just resurrects his career.
You're right about that.
I mean, there were times with the Dodgers where he was the best 7th inning or 8th inning pitcher in the game. Fly ball to left, 1 away. Then seemingly went a couple of years where he couldn't get anybody out. Then all of a sudden rose up again. What were the Mets? Now wound up being suspended for a while. And here he is now with the Giants. And the numbers are off the charts. An ERA at 1.33.
Always been a hard thrower with good stuff.
Well, the Reds did not bring in Arthur Rhodes in the 7th inning with a 1-run lead. They are going to bring him in the 8th inning down a run. So we'll take a break in the action and back with more in a moment. Try to keep it right there as they bring on their best reliever from the bullpen, Arthur Rhodes, who has just had a spectacular year.
I mean, how much more can you say about Arthur Rhodes than just putting his numbers up there and showing you some of these bodacious things that he has done for the Reds this year? like giving up 1 run.
Well, only Dusty Baker will answer the question, and he'll have an answer for it. But there will certainly be the question raised about with Arthur Rhodes. You're bringing him in, granted, to face a left-handed batter, and then another left-hander to follow. But, I mean, let's face it. It hadn't mattered against Rhodes whether you're talking about right-handers or left-handers. He's gotten everybody out. And you brought in another left-hander out of your bullpen, leading by a run just an inning ago, and had to face back-to-back right-handed hitters. And both of them against Daniel Ray Herrera got base hits. Both scored, giving the Giants their lead. So now Rhodes will come on to face Shearholtz and then Torres. And he strikes out Shearholtz.
Now, it really doesn't matter whether Arthur drops a slider on you or whether he gets you with the fastball. He's just able to throw the ball seemingly where he wants to, and at age 40 years old with plenty of hemp on it. That one at 92.
Torres will turn around about right-handed. Right-handed hitters this year against Arthur Rhodes are batting 106. 106. They have 47 at-bats against Arthur Rhodes, and they have 5 base hits. Man. Look at those numbers.
And that home run that he allowed was in the 2nd game of the year.
To Jeff Baker.
The last run he has given up, and the only run he's given up all year long.
That was a pinch hit home run.
And it saddled him with the loss.
Yep. Isn't that amazing? Isn't it amazing?
Some guys give up 5 runs and win a ball game. Or, you know, a great example is Francisco Cordero. Blew the save against Washington yesterday, ends up with a W.
One and two to Torres. Still 1-2. The Reds in the bottom of the 8th will have Johnny Gomes, Jay Bruce, and Drew Stubbs. It appears it'll be Guillermo Mota. Two and two. Breaking ball just low, and it's 3-2 now on Torres. This was a guy obviously Rhodes wants to come after right here and right now. You've got the best pure hitter in the Giants lineup waiting on deck in Freddie Sanchez, who's been on base 3 times already tonight. And he walks Torres with 2 away to face Sanchez. Sanchez walked in the 1st inning, singled to left in the 3rd, grounded out to Scott Rowland in the 5th, and then led off the Giants' 7th inning. And right now, that's a decisive inning in this game. With a single off Daniel Ray Herrera, scored the tying run, and the go-ahead run scored behind him. Ground ball down to 3rd. Arthur Rhodes, the beat goes on. Reds come to bat, bottom of the 8th, with Johnny Gomes leading off, down a run. Spotlight for the ones who get it done. And getting it done tonight for the Giants are shortstop Juan Uribe. He's having a good year. 4 RBIs tonight. And that gives him 37 of them on the season.
I'll tell you what, for a guy that does not play against the Reds very often, when he gets a chance to hit a Great American Ballpark, he just wears the Reds out. Doesn't really matter what uniform he's been in. Giants uniform, previously with the Chicago White Sox, where he tore them up when the White Sox came through town a couple of years ago. Uribe has been a pretty good fill-in player for the Giants here, playing all sorts of different positions.
Well, the Giants have made multiple changes. We begin in right field, where Nate Scherholtz, who pinch hit a moment ago and struck out, is in right. Pat Burrell is out. Andres Torres moves over to left. So it's Torres, Rowan, Scherholtz, left, center, and right. Sandoval, Uribe, Sanchez, and Huff along the infield. And Buster Posey has a new battery mate in Guillermo Mota.
Well, we talked about pitching, and more pitching with the Giants at the very onset of this ball game, and their bullpen is good. Their starting rotation is very good. But boy, they get towards the end of the ball game, they can bring some arms out there for you. Casilla was throwing the ball 96-97. Expect somewhere in that neighborhood for Guillermo Mota.
Johnny Gomes to lead things off. Jay Bruce and then Drew Stubbs. Strike one to Johnny. 0 for 2. A fly ball to left. A pop up to short. And a sac fly to left to knock in a run sandwiched in between in the 4th inning. Oh, and 2 now on Johnny Gomes. Well, the Reds so many times this year already have come from behind to win games. So many wins in their final at bat. Can they do it again here in the home half of the 8th inning? Down a run. They lead the major leagues in both of those categories. 11 victories in their final at bat, and 19 come from behind wins. Little flare. Shallow center field, and Sanchez out to get it 1 dog.
Well, he got sawed off a little bit. Boy, that's easy gas from Guillermo Mota. 96, 97 miles an hour. Got in on the trademark. You really want it out about here. He got it inside a little bit. That's a ball barely made it out of the infield.
Well, now Jay Bruce, a perfect night. A double, a home run, a single. Has knocked in one, scored twice. Two and 0 down to Jay. Two and 0 to Bruce, and he got a pitch to hit a fastball there and fouls it back. Bruce had home run to right field off Zito back in the fourth inning, his 8th of the year. And now the 2-1 pitch from Mota. Fouled away again with a fastball. Boy, you're right. This guy still throws so hard after all these years.
And it's such an easy motion, too. I mean, he's got the kind of fluid motion that almost puts you to sleep. All of a sudden, the ball's on you. In no way does he appear to throw as hard as he actually does. He has pitched in 632 ball games.
Took the words out of my mouth. He's been as durable as the day is long. Struck him out 95 miles per hour, and just like that, 2 away in the Reds' 8.
You know, his pitching delivery really gives you a little insight as to how he gets so much power. Look at him really rock back on that leg, and he makes sure that all that weight gets on that back leg, and he drives right towards the plate in direct line right there. He spins off, yes, but that's long after he's already released the ball. Look at him get that front leg low to the ground, long stride out there.
Two away, nobody on. Reds only down a run. As Drew Stubbs is quickly behind strike one. Stubbs 1 of 2 has knocked in a run with a single. Struck out, walked, and scored in the 6th. At bottom of the 6th inning is when the Reds took a brief lead. Their only lead of the game. On a pinch hit, 2-out, 2-run single by Miguel Cairo. But then the very next half inning, the Giants got 2 off Daniel Ray Herrera. And that's where we stand in the 8th. Wow. 88-mile-an-hour slider. And then 96 on the outside edge, or just off of it.
With some hair on it. You see that baby coming back?
Man.
And you wonder why he's been with seven or 8 teams.
Well, it's because they'll give him a year or 2 or 3 really good, and then all of a sudden he can't get anybody out. Then he'll come back again. Because when you have this kind of arm, Chris, you know how that goes.
Yeah, you're right about that, Tom. But you know what he does is ends up walking a lot of batters. When he ends up going in that bad streak, it's because he has a lot of bases on balls. But this year he has only walked 1 batter and struck out 9 in 20 innings. Two and 2 on Drew Stubbs. Mota the pause and a pitch.
Struck him out to end the inning. A 1-2-3-8 for Guillermo Mota. We move to the ninth. The Giants still lead by a run. Hot dog play of the game. Drew Stubbs in the fourth inning. I mean, right there, you got to clear the mound as a center fielder. One hop to Hernandez, who comes off the plate. Diving tag, well done. A real hot dog play of the game.
You make a good point about clearing the mound on that, Tom, because in Washington, he came up with a throw that hit the side of the mound. The ball went wild on him, and the Reds ended up getting out of third base, but it was not the out at the plate. So you go back to take a little bit of infield, making some throws from center field and extending that a little bit farther so you can get it on a nice one hopper to your catcher. The big guy, 6'8" Logan Ondrusek, comes into the ball game, his 10th appearance on the year. Second time he has been with the Reds.
See the 8 1/3 innings. And the 5 walks coupled with 3 home runs for Ondrusek.
I suspect that the first time he was around, he was a little on the nervous side. And he's a guy that has to pitch down in the zone. He's not overpowering despite his size. But he has a big high arm angle. And when he gets the ball down around the knees, that ball's like coming out of a 3-story building.
Well, Brian Wilson, the Giants closer, despite extended work yesterday, is getting loose in the bullpen. Sandoval pops up the first pitch, and he's retired. 1 away. Wilson very shaky in yesterday's game. He blew a save and then ran into trouble trying to nail it down in the 10th inning. They took him out of the game and brought in Santiago Casilla to pick up the save. He is 14 for 16 in save opportunities this year. But prior to yesterday, converted 10 in a row. Two on Aubrey Huff. There's very little doubt about it. You look at Del Rosario and you look at Ondrusek, stuff-wise, there is a lot to like. And that's why the Reds made the changes they did last week in St. Louis, figuring, why not get these guys up here? And Chris DeVar, your phrase, why not audition them for the long haul right here and right now?
Well, at this point, there's some spots open. I mean, because no one's out there nailing them down. And the better you pitch in situations like this, and it's a one-run ball game. I mean, yes, the Reds are losing, but it's still a very tight situation for Andrusik.
Uribe, the start of the night for the Giants. Don't forget, Great American Ballpark, always a great place to kick off your weekends. Another Fireworks Friday this weekend presented by Assurant Health. 513-381-REDS, a number to dial, or go to reds.com/fireworks this Friday night with the Royals in town. Bottom of the ninth inning for the Reds. It'll be Ramon Hernandez, a pinch hitter for Andrusik. And then Orlando Cabrera against a Giants closer, Brian Wilson. I mean, Wilson has, we mentioned only blown 2 saves, but I mean, those that see the Giants regularly will tell you he has been very, very shaky. Here's a fly ball into left field. And Andrusik, very solid 1-2-3 ninth. Well, here we go again. Reds down a run, batting in the ninth. Biggs coming together to make your shopping experience better. Come experience a Remke Biggs difference. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Well, folks, don't forget that after every Reds game, Fox Sports Ohio breaks down the game and talks to the players and coaches on Reds Live. Brought to you by Kings Honda in the Kings Auto Mall. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com.
Couple of changes for the Giants. Travis Ishikawa, sure-handed defender, takes over at first base. And we mentioned the Giant closer is Brian Wilson. 14 of 16 in saved chances. Blew a save yesterday, threw nearly 40 pitches against the Pirates.
I mean, look at the strikeouts this guy's got, though. 24 innings, 36 strikeouts. When he has been shaky, it's got something to do with that control. Those walks go along with the punch-outs, but that is one heck of a strikeout to innings pitch ratio there.
We talk about this guy and how it's been bumpy. In 9 of his 16 saved chances, he's allowed at least one base runner. And in his saved chances, strangely enough, his ERA is over 4. And that ball is blasted by Hernandez into left field. And what a catch out there in left field by Torres. That's why you move guys around defensively late in tight ball games. Torres started the game in right. Now he's in left, and that's a huge play.
Well, you're not kidding about that. Pat Burrell was out there earlier, very much of an offensive left fielder. I'm not so sure Burrell gets this ball, but give some kudos to Bruce Bochy. moving around the defense, trying to protect a one-run lead, and that line drive had intentions of being for extra bases if Torres can't handle it.
Well, now Lance Nix. 2 for 2 in his career against Brian Wilson. Reds down a run with 1 away in the 9th. Ball 1. Broken bat pop-up. And the Reds are down to their final out of the 9th. And now visit to the mound by Buster Posey before the at-bat to Orlando Cabrera. If the Reds can't rally with 2 outs here in the 9th, a tough one to lose. They had a 1-run lead going into the 7th inning. And Daniel Ray Herrera was brought on in relief of Johnny Cueto. Allowed back-to-back hits before he got an out. Del Rosario came on, allowed a 2-run single. Strike 1 to Cabrera. Boy, Wilson bringing it back-to-back fastballs, clocked at 98 on the radar gun.
Just now getting loose.
Yep. High fly ball into left center field, and the Giants are going to win the opening game of the series and give the Reds a little of their own medicine, if you will. They come from behind and win tonight in a 6-5 decision. So the Reds will keep an eye on St. Louis, who will play later tonight in Los Angeles. In fact, that game just underway. 6-5 our final. And you hate to say it, Chris, but, you know, I mean, you got to cover 3 innings of the bullpen. You got to cover 3 innings, and we brought it up at the time.
Well, it's not the best offensive ball club in the world, the Giants, but they pounded out 13 hits. They got through the starter, Johnny Cueto, pretty quick and pretty early. Well, they took 2 in the first and 2 in the 3rd inning, and the Reds were playing catch-up from there, but they battled back. The offense, like it has done so many times, got them back into the ball game. They actually took the lead. And you're right, the bullpen meltdown, we've seen some inconsistency in that middle relief out there, and that's one area that Dusty Baker's not sure when he goes to the bullpen exactly what he's going to get. And until that gets better, we're going to have seesaw battles back and forth. This time the Giants end up on top. Reds will have to come back with a different game plan to try to get them one tomorrow.
Romo, the winner. Herrera 0-3.